Good morning and welcome to the Schoolgate Set web chat. If you're joining us live, head over to the chat room and we'll keep a close eye on questions or comments that you may have, and we'll answer them as we go along. Today we're going to answer some of the questions you may have and hopefully give you a nudge to get involved. For more detailed information, go to the website schoolgateset.blogspot.co.uk. Find us on Twitter @SchoolgateSet or on Facebook, again, Schoolgate Set. Just search for us and we'll be there. We'd love to see you in any of these places and answer any other questions that you may have. We're also going to be using those media to help support you when you do get involved. Schoolgate Set is for all science, technology, engineering and maths disciplines, but we currently have years funding to grow the community of engineers and technologists. And that's thanks to the Royal Academy of Engineering Ingenious Fund. So if you haven't been able to join us live or you need to hop out, then jump on over to the website for a link to view the recording, which I have remembered to press the magic button. So I think this week, let's first off introduce the Schoolgate Set team. Kate.
Hello, I'm Kate Bellingham. I'm sort of the founder of Schoolgate Set, though it's great to be working with the Science Sisters team as well. My background is I've got a physics degree, I've worked in engineering, masters in electronics, but I've also worked as a teacher, secondary school teacher in maths and physics, and spent time working with my children's primary school. So that's me.
Karen, go for it.
Hello, I'm Karen Dickens. I've got a bioscience background. I joined Jan's Science Sisters at the very, very outset and joined up as a STEM ambassador as well. Over the years, I've worked in a number of the primary schools delivering hands-on activities, including building paper structures and Connects rocket cars as well, all to do with the Bloodhound project. We've worked in primary and secondary school over the years, but the primaries, I think, are one of the most important areas to try and hook children into enjoying their science and technology.
Helen, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Helen. I've got a degree in physics and I was a PhD in astronomy. I worked as a researcher in astronomy for a few years. After I got pregnant and had my children, I helped my partner set up a business. He's an electronics designer, but he specialises in developing products that help teach science and technology in schools. And then since January, I've been working with Kate, helping to promote and expand the Schoolgate Set.
Brilliant, thanks. And I've got a first degree in chemistry, but moved into materials and engineering, designing silicon, gallium arsenide solar cells. I've got 2 kids, but whilst my children are now at secondary school, I still help out once a term at their previous primary schools. And just last week, I was running a session investigating water with year 2. It's a really great thing to be able to take my expertise and introduce it into the schools. I really enjoy it. It's great fun. So today's webcast, as I said, is really aiming to answer some of the questions, worries, concerns you may have. And some of them are based on the ones that are coming in live, but some of those we've been receiving by email over the last few weeks. So let's pick the first question. And if you are live, have a question, check into the chat area and post your question and we'll pick it up as we go along. So, Kate, do you want to kick off with the first question you've been asked?
Yeah, I've been asked why primary school, why not secondary? Somebody said, well, I've got kids in both primary and secondary, why are we talking about primary? And the reason is, and it fits with this whole Schoolgate thing, from my experience, if you've got kids in primary school, you are much more engaged, you are physically likely to be there much more. Also, primary schools often ask for help in different ways. You know, for me, it was listening to readers and also helping with the PTA and running a STEM club. So we like the idea of primary because you have a particular involvement as a parent with that school. And we're also hoping that it's going to be people who've got time during the school day who can directly support and build up an ongoing relationship with the school. Don't want to discourage you from doing secondary. That's wonderful. There's quite a lot of stuff going on promoting helping in secondary, like STEM ambassadors, so that's why we're focusing on primary.
Brilliant. Karen, have you got a question that you've had come in?
Yeah, somebody did ask us about, is this just for parents or can I help out with a nephew or a niece or even grandchild? Well, yeah, I mean, that's great. You know, that's absolutely fine. You don't have to be a parent. The important thing is to link in with a local school. And if you've got other relatives there, that's fantastic. But it should be all people who've got time and available during the school day to go in and support. So you don't have to be a parent in order to do that. We can organise DBS checks and things like that for you through the school. They'll probably ask you if you're going in regularly anyway, but that's something that can also be sorted out through the STEM Ambassador scheme. So
great. Helen, you're the core person at the heart of Schoolgate Set, and you're the recipient of lots of emails and phone calls with people who are registering interest. What's one of the questions that you've been frequently asked?
Well, a parent did get in touch who really wanted to help promote STEM to young people, but her child was only in nursery, so she was wondering whether there was anything she could do to help such little children. But we suggested that really the idea is to support the whole school, so there's no problem getting in touch with the school and seeing what they could offer. For example, we have had a mum who has children in reception, but she's done forensic science workshops for year 5 and 6, because that was the most appropriate place for her to use her skills.
Brilliant, thanks. So lots of interesting people getting in touch from different walks of life. The one that I've been asked was somebody who heard about Schoolgate Set, wants to work. She currently works in an engineering company, but not in an engineering role, but she really wants to get involved and help support the local company. And we've put her in touch with the asked her to go back to a company, see if they support the STEM Ambassador scheme and allow people to take time out of work to volunteer. Most companies really are supportive of helping to enthuse and inspire local primary schools. We're all Science Ambassadors, STEM Ambassadors, going into schools, and that gives you the extra sort of the DBS check and the training course about how to engage, insights into the school curriculum and so forth. And all of the Schoolgate Set members are going to become STEM Ambassadors, which is a nationally run scheme by the government to inspire young people around science, technology, engineering and maths. Just love acronyms, don't we?
It's so much easier.
Yeah, STEM is that acronym we just keep coming across all of the time.
It's everywhere.
So talking of STEM, does it matter what kind of STEM background? I know you've had that question before, Kate.
Yeah, the answer is no, it doesn't matter at all. It's the enthusiasm to help support the primary school that matters, because obviously there are lots of different ways you can help, and the important thing is to use your skills, develop your skills to support the school in whatever they might need. However, we are particularly at the moment looking for people with an engineering and technology background, whether that's sort of chartered professional or technician, whatever, because the ingenious funding, the funding we've got from the Royal Academy of Engineering, is specifically focusing on people with an engineering and technology background. And we're also looking particularly for people in the Hertfordshire area, which is where I live, and the Dorset area, that's where you, Jan, are based. So the answer is get in touch if you've got any kind of STEM background, if you've got the interest and enthusiasm to get involved. But if you have got an engineering and technology background, particularly if you're from those areas, then we've got something a bit special to offer.
Brilliant, thank you. I've just noticed there's a question in the chat box about one. I think somebody mentioned training a little while ago. Karen, you're going to be involved in delivering the training. Do you want to give us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the idea is that we are going to run some training sessions across the sort of Dorset, Hertfordshire, and possibly over into the New Forest, so just edging over into Hampshire there as well. We're hoping to run it in either local school buildings, if they'll let us have a room, or possibly libraries as well. Maybe groups of about 6 to 10 people. We'll be covering a strengths finder element, which Jan will probably tell you a bit more about in a moment, but we want to give you a bit of a talk about an introduction to how to work with schools and what it might be like, so a lot more detailed questions about actually going into primary schools. But we want to give you training in a specific activity. And we'll bring along all the resources and equipment that you need to do that. We'll also show you some ideas that have been used across schools all over the place. Some of the ideas have come from the Royal Academy of Engineering, some of them come from the IET, so there's quite a lot of resources and ideas for taking activities into school, so there's quite a lot of support out there. We'll obviously give you the training in one of those activities initially, but we'll tell you about a lot of the others as well. And we'll also give you some tips about how to join up if you want to become a STEM ambassador, which is really helpful because that does give you the DBS check that then enables you to work across a range of schools and not just in maybe your local school. So, for instance, if you're in a team locally who are covering a number of schools, it means you can sort of work across and support each other if you're in a small group. The Strengths Finder, I think, is quite an important element of this training as well, because for some people, they may not have been into a school since they actually left school. So to go in and stand in front of a class, that can be quite a daunting thing to face. So the Strengths Finder is quite useful in understanding how you can develop your own skills and confidence as well, I think, going forward, so that if you then decide to get back into work, you've already got a bit of support helping you launching back into careers and things like that. So Jan, do you want to talk a little bit about the Strengths Finder?
Yeah, thanks. So Strengths Finder is a sort of personality type tool. You might be familiar with other tools like Myers-Briggs or the Bellingham team working tool if you've worked in industry before. Strengths Finder from Gallup's, it's an online self-assessment of a number of questions, quite a lot of questions, takes half an hour, and the project's going to be, for those people who sign up, will be paying for your fee to do the strengths assessment, and we'll be giving you some feedback. And in the webinars that we're going to be running and the group chat in Facebook, we're going to be helping provide support and help people really understand what it is that they're naturally good at. So whilst doing strengths is going to help people develop their own self-awareness and build their confidence and give them tools to start really describing what they're fantastic at and to really shape what their awesomeness is, if you like. It's going to give you some really great insights into how other people behave and respond. It's going to help you as a parent as well. And in terms of being able to use strengths in schools, you'll be able to understand and identify children that have competition at their heart and know that that's a great way to engage them, is talking competitive language. Other kids have got more kind of relationship-based talent themes that are at their heart, and they're people who like to talk and debrief with each other. Others are just innate questioners, and that kind of shapes how they're going to be in the future. But by being able to spot how younger people are, it's a great way to understand how you can engage in a really meaningful conversation with them. And I've been using the Strengths tool in the junior version in some secondary schools with Year 7, and it's had an amazing impact on how we've been able to engage with them and inspire their self-belief, self-confidence, but ultimately resilience. So you're going to, as well as gain experience and confidence in delivering a science activity, you're going to gain a confidence and competence in collaborating and communicating with other people. And one of the things that we've described it as is we want to take, this is like, I suppose, pitched a little bit at the mums, but help you go from being the mum back to the me. What is it that makes you special? What makes you stand out? And what do you take into the classroom? What do you take into the workplace every day? So I found it really inspiring and seen some amazing transformations in people who've worked with it. So we've embedded it as part of the School Gate Set project, and we think it's going to be really helpful in helping you to reshape your CV and get yourself perhaps back to being work ready. I've seen another couple of questions pop up. Helen, when people are, you've taken a break, and somebody here is very worried about being out of touch with their science background, their technology background. How do you think they should be worried about going into a school, or do you think they can gain enough confidence from this training?
Well, it's certainly something I was worried about. Not also, as well as being out of touch, having specialised for so long, not really remembering what children know at primary school age and how to pitch activities. But I think from that point of view, you can really benefit from talking to the class teacher, really getting an idea of the stage the children are at and what's the best approach to take. And also, if you go if you start by focusing on your own interest and skill, then you're naturally going to be more enthusiastic about the activities that you're presenting.
Yeah.
If I can just add something here, it's obviously as part of the training we'll give people the chance to learn a particular activity and ways of delivering that activity, but we're also, you know, if what you'd like is just to be involved, sort of the equivalent of listening to readers, so that you do little one-to-ones, or you just give general support, or in fact, because of the nature of science and tech in schools, maybe it's helping looking after the kid initially, and not having, you know, not standing in front of a class and trying to pretend to be a teacher or something. There are all kinds of different ways in which we as the Schoolgate set can help and support our schools. So one of the things when you get in touch is to say, you know, what you think you'd be interested in doing. We'll help you through strengths, find out what your skills are, but also, as Helen says, by talking with the teachers, what sort of things they're looking for, and how we can help. It's the whole idea of Schoolgate set is bringing all those together, but with the support of people who've sort of already done it, because one of the challenges can be actually just what you go and say to the school if you're thinking of offering. If they've said, are there people who'll come and listen to readers, and you've said, yes, I'm happy to come and listen to readers, then you're kind of responding. But if you're actually going to the school and saying, this is me and I'd like to help, it's almost a difficult conversation to start with. So we're also going to be looking at how you start that conversation, how to think about what sort of things you could offer, and a little bit of background into how primary school works, so that helps understand what sort of things the school might need.
That's exactly right. When we started Science Sisters, we expected to be not actually doing hands-on delivery, and the idea was that we would be helping the teacher that had got the sort of technology sort of management, or the coordinating brief, or the science brief. We thought we'd just be helping them to sort through their emails and maybe organise local speakers to come in, or organising a science day or even a science week. So that's where we actually started, just being an extra pair of hands with a science slant. And then we started running training days for ourselves. And what I ended up doing was going in pairs, not just for our own children's school. We ended up going in pairs and doing hands-on activities. But we also have organised some amazing, at one school we got bid for some Royal Society Chemistry money and got a grant to do a chemistry at work. Started out as a day, but it ended up being a whole science week for year 5 and 6. So there was 5 classes of 30 kids. But we had an amazing week and brought in specialists and experts from all sorts of different areas that all fitted in to the topics that they were doing in that particular school. Yes, it can be really adapt to how you want to make it work. Anybody got any final comments to make? Sorry, Kate.
No, it's just one question that I was asked actually in person, this one, not over email, which is if I sign up, and this was actually specifically to the Ingenious scheme, so that involves the training. She said, what's the commitment? I don't want to sign up to something if it's going to be a huge commitment. And I just thought it was worth asking about that in terms of what the commitment is in training, but also what we're then hoping that our Schoolgate set people will do.
Shall I take that one for a second?
Lovely, Karen. Thank you.
I'll hang on to that. Well, for the training session that we do for Schoolgate Set, obviously, we're going to do that within school hours. So it will probably be something like 10 till 2 or 9:30 till 2, so that if you, again, have to get back to the Schoolgate to do a collection or drop off, then that gives you plenty of time to do that. So it is within a school day. Beyond that, there will also be, if you're going to be a STEM ambassador, there will also be an induction session with your local STEM coordinator, which is usually about a 2-hour session. If we could, we would have liked to have bolted it onto the day, but that then I think would have made the day itself a little bit too long. So that might be something that you'll need to do separately, and we'll organise that with the local STEM coordinators for you. And beyond that, really, we just want you to get involved with your local school. So whether it's a single day, obviously if you can do more than that, some people from the Science Sisters project actually went on to run clubs on a regular basis, but we're not expecting that. We just want any sort of support that you can give us. Whether you just want to go in and do the activity that we've trained you on, or whether you've got your own ideas or want to use some of the other ideas that we've got here for you, we're happy to support you and help you make those links and get started, really. So it's any time that you are willing to commit. It's all voluntary, so we just ask for whatever you can do.
Yeah, I still go in. I roughly give half a day per school term to go in and do something in a school still. And I really enjoy it as a break away from the office, and it's whatever works for you, I think, as you said. So I think we're coming up to the end of our half hour, so I think I'll take that opportunity to draw things to a close. Thank everybody for joining us live at Schoolgate Set web chat. If you've got any further questions, drop us an email to Helen. What's the email, Helen?
schoolgateset@gmail.com.
Brilliant, thank you. So if you don't fancy doing an email, hop over to the website or the Facebook group. All the links are on schoolgateset.blogspot.co.uk. But you can also get in touch with us on Twitter at schoolgateset. I'm going to stop the live recording now and open up the microphones and answer any other direct questions. Thank you all for joining us. Goodbye.
Yeah.